All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 2K subs. So there's a lot of people talking about one man in my comment section all day. I haven't had the opportunity, the pleasure at work to check all the notifications, but from the few notifications that I did see, they were all talking about one man. And it was one man who wasn't on the channel last night when we were talking with the other fans. And shout out to Rakai, shout out to Terrell. But yes, the one that a lot of people wanted to really hear his opinion and his reaction to the latest UConn game was this guy to my left. You're right, wherever you're watching this. If you're, anyways, it's Joel. Joel, what's up, man?
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays, sir.
Shout out to my brother Roland Ray. Purr. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Just saying. If you gonna claim your team, where's your nail? Where's your nail?
Uh-oh.
Where is the money that you spent into the team you stand for? We would love to see it. But hello, Rashad. How are you doing?
All right. I did a ding last night where, one of the people on there, he had some things to say about people who weren't on camera. So I will do the same thing tonight. I rock with everybody who comes on this channel, and everybody knows that I got them, and I defend them. I support them wholeheartedly on both sides. With that being said, I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking me. You want to pull up the box score? How do you want to go about this? It's kind of.
Well, I'm definitely gonna need you to pull up the box score. And I guess you can be the receipt. You can be the receipt historian of the night, because me, I don't just talk out of the side of my neck. I also like to show people receipts as well. But the first thing I definitely did want to address is that moving forward, I think I said this before on the channel, I just want to kind of keep it basketball. I think it's kind of gotten outside of basketball, outside of the channel, which Rashad, obviously you are privy to, and the audience is not. And I'm just not gonna be wasting my time with people who do not know basketball anymore. Take it how you want it. It doesn't mean that I won't still come on from time to time and actually have great dialogue with people who are actual historians of the game and know who they're talking about. But the days of me being on here trying to teach people about the game, and I just don't get paid for that. I don't get paid to, teach people. If you don't bring a certain caliber of knowledge to the table, then we're just not going to debate. It's just that simple. So any South Carolina Gamecock fan that is in the comments that is knowledgeable, that is knowledgeable. I'm sorry. Feel free to hit Rashad up, and I'm definitely down to record. But and I'm definitely not the only UConn fan that Rashad has had on the channel that feels this way. But not for me to talk about. But all I can do is speak for myself. And for me moving forward, I'm gonna stick to the people that know the game and stick to the people that can have discussion without, just talking out the side of their neck. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you can't have good dialogue, then what are we on this for? We started doing this. It was supposed to be fun. It's kind of gotten away from that. And again, to the audience, you don't know a lot of the things that have been going on outside of the video world. There's been a lot of disrespect that I am not going to continue to tolerate, and I don't have to tolerate. Lies have been made up about me. Rashad can attest to this. He won't on camera, I'm sure, but he knows that this is not something that I'm making up. And I don't have to deal with that type of stuff. It's unnecessary. I have not made up lies about anybody that I've recorded with since I've started doing this, but I feel like people have done that to me for reasons that I won't even get into on this channel, because it's supposed to be about the girls. It's supposed to be about the teams that we like and we stand for. But for the fans that are wondering, what's going on and why we're having separate videos, that's why. Because Joel has been disrespected. He has not been given an apology for the disrespect or the lies, the continuous lies, meaning more than one occasion, lies that I would love to add that nobody believes. I mean, if you're going to lie, at least try to make something up that people going to believe. Don't make up a lie that people just going to look at you stupid. Like, and be like, really, bro? Like, you think I was born yesterday? Like, come on. But anyway, And Rashad's laughing because everything that I'm saying is valid and true.
I was like, oh man, this is getting so personal, man. Let's
So,
if the people came to hear about the page and the song.
but the truth is the
Yeah,
truth. I
go ahead,
definitely
go
wanted to
ahead.
start off with that. I wanted to start off with that, and just to let the fans know, I'm gonna try to come on as much as I can. Still, I was really not even gonna come on to talk about the game, to kind of avoid how kind of toxic it was getting outside of the video world. And but at the same time, the fans hit me up. They wanted to hear what I thought about the game, and I want to focus on the game here on out. But I definitely did want to start with that, and you know hashtag we not giving time to peons anymore. So yeah, Rashad, we can take it from there, and I'm ready to talk about this great game that we had yesterday.
Yeah, like I said in my side at the beginning, but what Joel said at the end of it was getting toxic. I can agree with that. I can confirm that off camera it was getting kind of crazy. Anyways, now people gonna be in my D. Oh wait, what's the T? What's the C? What you did, Joel? But it is what it is. Let's get to the box score. Let's get to the box score. All right. The bigs. The bigs is what we were talking about a lot last night.
Well, first things first.
Go
First
ahead.
things first, because I keep it real. I'm not. I give credit where credit is due. Contrary to what people believe. Like again, I'm a UConn fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm a UConn fan to the heart, but I'm a fan of the sport, and I have no problem giving credit where credit is due. Congratulations to South Carolina. I thought that they were the better team yesterday. I thought that overall, I think that South Carolina was mentally stronger than UConn yesterday. I really do. This is something that I expressed with Tommy through the game and before the game even started, like after the SF game that UConn played. I didn't know if UConn was going to be necessarily ready mentally for this moment, and credit my UConn Huskies. They definitely proved me wrong for 3 quarters. And then in that fourth quarter, everything that I kind of thought was gonna happen happened, and I was like, that's what I was kind of waiting for. I was waiting for the mental collapse, and I'm not just saying that because that's the easy way out of saying why UConn lost. I'm gonna go through every single thing in that game that is reasoning behind me saying that UConn just mentally lost it. And the reason why I say that is because if you notice when we were beating South Carolina, which I don't know, contrary to a lot of the media headlines that have been written about this being a blowout, and the box score was definitely not indicative of how I think competitive the game was throughout the game. If you go back and watch the game, I believe that South Carolina only led UConn in the third quarter. That's it, in the fourth quarter. So UConn led the whole game up until the third quarter. And I believe South Carolina came back, got up by 6. UConn cut the 6-point lead and then went up by 2. I think UConn only went up by 2 at the most at that point. And South Carolina, of course, won the game in the fourth. But what I was impressed by South Carolina and what I noticed was that Destiny Henderson, Zia Cook, their maturity, their calmness, I was very impressed with, because people have to understand in these type of games when the talent is, pretty even on both sides, it's going to come down to players making plays and players keeping their head. That's what these games come down to. They come down to players not letting what's going on in the game affect how they're playing, affect the little things, affect, their game plan and what they're supposed to be executing. And I felt like UConn let what was happening in the game, they let South Carolina get themselves back in the game and kind of punching them back. It completely destroyed their mental, I feel like. It completely destroyed the effort that they were given. And if you remember when Gino last year after the Arizona game said, we have a very immature team, and people think Gino's taking shots at his team when he says stuff like that. We're going to get into the press conference too. He's not taking shots, you guys. He's being honest. They're immature. The reason why they're immature is because if you only can play well when things are going well for you in a basketball game, that is a sign of immaturity. Things were not going well for South Carolina in that first half of the basketball game. when Zaya Cook was out on the sideline. Zaya Cook was on the bench. She was on that bike riding, and when she came back in, even though that they were down, they kept fighting. They never got down. I never saw South Carolina, their attitude never wavered to me. And I was watching them. I was watching them when we were winning, because a lot of times if when UConn is beating a team, they'll start to give up. They'll start to give up. And you can tell in their body language. South Carolina did not waver in their body language. I'm trying to tell you, go back and watch that game. They did not waver. They kept fighting. 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 They were pretty much telling UConn, if y'all were going to beat us, y'all going to have to beat us for 40 minutes. You can't just beat us for 30. You're going to have to beat us for the full 40. And you have to give them credit for that. Like especially considering how out of control Cook and Henderson kind of were in the last year's game. They were under control, and don't get caught up in Aaliyah Boston's 22 points, because I'm gonna break that down too for everybody that thinks that 22 points was just so impressive. We're gonna break those 22 points down, and we're actually gonna go and look at how many of those shots she got were shots that she made with a defender in her face, and how much were the shots that she made that were given to her wide open, and shots that were wide open that she got off of offensive rebounds from her teammates. She still has to make those shots, don't get me wrong. But those 22 points were not with a defender in her face. They were not. If you go back and watch,
because she knocked them down.
They were not with defenders in her face.
Because she knocked them down.
They were open. She had to knock them down. I just said that. You got to give her credit. She had to knock them down. However, the difference between
I'm saying she knocked the defenders down. That knocked the shots down.
Well, I definitely think the refs definitely missed some. I mean, they definitely missed some offensive fouls. However, Liv played pretty good defense on Aaliyah Boston. If you go and watch like almost every play, and this is Aaliyah Boston we're talking about, right? The best center in the game. You didn't see Aaliyah Boston get a lot of her 22 points the way that she usually gets it, backing down on the post and just going one-on-one. Every time pretty much she went one-on-one with Liv stopped her. Liv stopped her. So her points, I challenge people to go back and look and see how many points Aaliyah Boston got because her teammates were getting her offensive rebounds and she got an open putback layup, or Gino and the defense was pretty much conceding that open shot to her. Go back and see how many of those points she got from those type of shots, and then compare that to the shots that Paige made. Every single shot Paige made, she had a defender in her face. She was being face guarded. Now, whether that defender could keep up with her or not, that's neither here nor there. I mean, we already know Paige is going to get hers for the most part, but that's the difference that people have to understand between how players are defended. Even when Zaya Cook had the ball, sometimes Kristen Williams was laying back off of her pretty much all the way to the free throw line, and Zaya Cook was at the top of the key, pretty much just bouncing, waiting to go one-on-one. But they were not giving Paige that type of space. They were on Paige from the inbound. They were on her from the inbound. That is the difference, people. That's the difference. Now, whether you want to acknowledge that or not, that's the difference that makes Paige Paige, because she.
Question. I got a question real quick about that. When Gino was talking about we have to do better ways, we have to find better ways to get AZ open. I said it in the video, so I just want to know your response to that. Like, why, if AZ is supposed to be the number one player in the country, like he's never had to say that for Paige. If anything, it was like, let's get Paige some more help, but it was never, let's find ways to get Paige open, because Paige just makes everything.
And I didn't.
You cut out, Joe.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I didn't get to hear the whole video that you had with the UConn fan and South Carolina fan that you did the post game with. I didn't get to see everything, but I think I did see when you were saying something. Weren't you saying something like he's never had to do that with like a number one player or something like that?
No. I said he never had to do that with Paige. That's all I said.
Okay, so you've said this zillions of times on camera when I brought up Paige in comparison to other players. What's the main thing that you always tell me? Everybody not Paige.
Everybody not Paige.
Paige had the best freshman season in the history of the sport.
But the thing is about AZ was like the most comparable incoming freshman to Paige.
So who though? I told you before AZ came in. I said it on camera. I said I don't know how realistic it is for her to come in the same way Paige came in as. And after we watched her USA highlights, remember, I was like, she does a lot of things good, but I still didn't see, that just magic that I feel like Paige kind of plays with. I definitely didn't see that. I saw a lot of fundamentals. I think she has one of the best shots that I've ever seen formed, quick release. But what you have to understand is that, and this goes for a lot of number one players that have come to UConn. And I've said this on the channel. Did I just cut out or I stayed?
No, your video just cut out, but I could still hear you the entire time.
But I've said this before on video before. When you're in high school and you're a number one player, if you go back and watch a lot of these number one players' high school tapes, they had the ball in their hands a lot, right? When they were in high school. When you come to UConn, they run a motion offense, meaning that you have to learn how to score without having the ball in your hands. You have to learn how to score off of screens without the ball. That's what you have to do when you come to UConn. It takes time for the average player to get used to scoring that way.
And that's just not just number one players too.
Yeah.
You're talking about any high school player who is good enough to go to a school like
exactly.
UConn,
And I
a Power
think
5 program. They're all at their high school the girl, where they have the ball in their hands the whole game. So yeah.
And all the people that were coming out about AZ saying, AZ is better than Paige Beckers before she was coming out of high school, that still may come to pass. Who knows? Do I think that'll happen? I don't think that'll happen because Paige is just too good. Paige is scores too effortlessly. However, I do think that I just want to put some things in perspective for people. AZ Fudd has played 4 college games. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In her third college game, she hit 6 threes. The record of all-time threes hit in a basketball game at UConn is 10. It's 10. So she already hit 6 in her third game. She has a pretty long way to go. So do you really think if she hit 6 threes in a basketball game that was the day before they played South Carolina, do you really think that she's not gonna she hit 6 threes the day before. She's going to figure it out, guys. She's only played 4 games. So people who are out there talking mess about AZ Fudd and this, that, and third and, making up, just being, saying whatever.
Well, and then it's another thing, Joe, also of, going back to understanding the game of basketball, right? So at the basis level, it's like you have to understand, like people, the casual fan might not understand from the outside looking in, every player is assigned a role on the team. So AZ's role clearly through the preseason, through the first couple of games of the season is a spot up shooter. Catch
exactly.
And shoot. That's her role. 3-point shooter.
Role,
the thing is, when Gino, okay, go ahead.
Same role Kayla Lou Samuelson played her freshman year. The exact same role Kalina Mosquito-Lewis played her freshman year. 2 of the best shooters in UConn history, the exact same role. Exactly why I'm not overreacting, because I've seen this story before. When Lou came in, it took Lou time to see shots go in. And then once she started seeing shots go in, it was all she wrote. Same as Kalina Mosquito-Lewis. Kalina Mosquito-Lewis came in for the most part pretty strong, but once they come in and kind of see that some shots can go in, like I think I said this on another video we had. If you look at how AZ misses, she misses the same exact way. It's kind of like in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. That's how she misses. So that's usually a sign of a pretty good shooter. Gino and CD. AZ is too good of a shooter to not have any points moving on throughout her UConn career, moving out through this season. That's what I believe.
But it's also, 10 minutes is because of defense. Defense is a huge, like that's the biggest thing right now. But they forget the shot. It's defense. But the thing I wanted to ask you, Joe, was it seemed like with that comment that he was saying, we need another pretty much, not another page, but another page, in more or less words is what he said. Do you think those were shots to Kristen?
I mean, I won't say who they were shots to, because I know exactly who his comments was about. And I mean, if people do process of elimination, I mean, when he said that I've coached iconic players, and I get players sometimes who,
think they're
who
iconic.
really that want to be stubborn and don't really want to listen to me and buy into what I'm trying to teach them, and they haven't accomplished what those iconic players have accomplished. That's what he was saying. He obviously Diana and Maya were number one talents. Those were the names that he brought up. So I would think that he would be talking about a fellow number one talent. Well, there's only three number one talents currently on the roster: Paige, Kristen, and AZ. Paige is the best player in the sport. I doubt he was talking about her. AZ has only played 4 games. Doubt he's talking about her. It's only one left. So I mean,
And then a follow up to that. We talked about on the video about NIL. Do you think it's NIL? Do you think that's the kind of issue that's gassing up a lot of these players' heads? Do you think that's affecting the game?
No, because Kristen has played like this since her freshman year. No, NIL just came into play this year. Kristen Williams is a senior with, in my opinion, superstar talent that has not came out at UConn. Same thing was with Megan Walker. Megan Walker finally started listening to Gino Auriemma. The last season she was in college, she finally listened. And what happened as a result? She was a first-team All-American. First team, meaning that she became first-round pick, first-team All-American. Who knows?
She might have been second round. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off that second time. I just thought about it. I think she was okay. She was first round.
Yeah, she was the ninth pick. She was first
round.
And she came out a year early. So imagine if she would have stayed her senior year, came back and had another year listening to Gino. Megan, it was the same thing with Megan. Megan didn't want to listen. They don't like, and it's hard. I get it. Gino's not an easy coach. When you've been told your whole career that you're the best thing since sliced bread, and then you come to UConn and you have to play in a system. I think Lisa Leslie even said it about Megan Walker. She was like, my Megan Walker is the sleeper in this draft, because when UConn players are kind of unleashed, when they go to UConn, Lisa Leslie said, they have to play in Gino's system. They have to play in Gino's system. So for a lot of star players, they're not used to that. And every star player can't figure out how to still be a star and play in that system, and I think that's kind of what has happened to Kristen. Kristen could possibly go to the WNBA and turn into another Arike Agumbawale if the ball is put in her hands, more. I'm telling you, I mean, she has that.
Also, happy birthday, Megan Walker. It's her birthday at the time we're recording this. By the time it comes out, it's going to be a day later.
But when I just said that, you looked away.
Because it was like you said the thing about Megan Walker with Lisa Leslie coming into the draft, and I was like, all due respect, I'm saying no disrespect. Megan Walker hasn't exactly been like even.
Yeah, she hasn't. But I don't.
Bria Hartley's on the team, man, and I see more promise in Bria Hartley than
Megan.
But Meg plays her role well as well, though. So I mean,
Megan is also, she's not on the same team that she was drafted to either. So she's had to move to another team. And it takes players time, but the fact that she said that, it's still the same thing. I mean, Crystal Dangerfield was Rookie of the Year when she came out at UConn. And I don't want to say, Crystal, you didn't see that one-on-one Crystal at UConn that you saw when she got to the WNBA. So that's what I'm saying. That's what Lisa's talking about. When a lot of UConn players get to the league, sometimes they are able to do more things that they weren't able to really do at UConn, because UConn does run a system. So that's all I'm kind of saying. Now, in regards to Kristen, like, I bring up the game her freshman year at Notre Dame because that was the best game that she played. And that's not a game that a lot of freshmen would have been able to score 30 on. Notre Dame were the defending champions. They were number one in the country, and it was on the road. And Kristen Williams, at a time in the game, I think was like 8 for 8 in her first couple shots. That she had, like, she's talented. She has it in her. Like that doesn't just disappear. I remember Kara Lawson was talking about it that year. Kristen Williams was a freshman before she got the job at Duke. She was like, when I coached the with some USA team, Kristen was on, and she was like, Kristen Williams was our best player, and it wasn't because she was the best offensive player. She did everything for us. Kristen has that in her, but I think sometimes when you get to UConn and you start clashing with Gino, sometimes it's almost like a power struggle. It's almost like, well, I haven't been listening to him for this long, I want to prove to him that I can get it done my way. I can get it done my way. And at this point in her career, she's a senior, I don't know how her mindset is. I don't know if it's realistic for her to all of a sudden just start listening to Gino, I don't think they have a bad relationship. I don't think Gino and Megan had a bad relationship, but I don't know if it was as close as Gino and other number one players that he's had. You know, I'm not sure if it was like that. You know, Megan Walker left a year early. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you never know how they necessarily felt about, you know, Gino coaching them. You know, you have to be the greatest players. They know how to be coached. They know how to be coached. Like Maya was amazing when she came in. And I'm bringing this also up because probably the greatest player currently in the sport currently, Breanna Stewart, went through this same thing with Gino. When Stewie did not want to listen her freshman year, man. She didn't want to listen. She did not want to listen. She wanted to do things her way. There's footage of them at practice with Gino yelling at Stewie saying, you know, you think you got everything figured out. You don't want to listen to nobody. You got a bad attitude. You know, Stewie had to humble herself and stop being, what was the word Gino used in the press conference? Stubborn. Stop being stubborn. And as soon as Stewie stopped being stubborn, what happened?
Okay, so here's my response to that. I don't have an issue with Gino saying that at all, right? The issue I have is doing it publicly, throwing your team under the bus publicly after a loss instead of, because a great man said it like this one time: when you win, you use we. When you lose, you use I. Right?
Can I
Publicly,
respond
at
to
least.
that real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, so people who have followed the game long enough, Michelle Vopo just wrote an article for ESPN and touched on in her article. I think the section that she wrote, it said Gino's going to be Gino. Gino has always been like this. So
Exactly.
people
Which
always,
a lot of
always.
fans are being like, he shows time and time again. This is why I don't respect Gino. This is why
And
Gino will never be
but
XYZ.
you don't have to respect it because he's the best that has ever done it, and that's what you have to remember. You may not like his methods, but nobody is where he is. Nobody has won or accomplished what he's done, so he knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And I believe if at the end of the day, like I've said this on the channel before, if Gino was really as bad as people think he is, you really don't think any former players would have come out publicly by now in the press and said that he said certain things to them at practice, or he's done certain things. Those girls know Gino loves them. He just coaches them hard. That's what he does. He coaches them hard. He coaches them hard. Period. He coaches them hard.
Other coaches have coached players, Pat Summitt, but Pat Summitt ain't gonna do that.
But everybody's not the same person. Everybody's not the same person. And
Right.
and again, if I have a female child, if I have a daughter, hypothetically, who was a number one pick, I'm sending her to UConn. Because guess what? A lot of players that get through Gino Auriemma in his 4 years at UConn, you've heard Diana Taurasi say it, you've heard Stewie say it, you've heard Maya say it, you've heard Sue Bird say it. If you can survive at UConn, there ain't nothing moving on that you ain't gonna be able to accomplish. If you can survive Gino Auriemma every day at practice for 4 years, there's nothing that you're not gonna be able to accomplish once you get to that next level. And that's what people aren't realizing. Look at Gino's success on the next level. The most WNBA players out of any coach. The most. 3 of the top 5 players that have ever played all time. I don't care what you believe, Rashad. Maya, Stewie, and DT are in the top 5. 3. He has 3. That's not a coincidence, bro. That's not a coincidence. That's results. He knows what he's doing, ladies and gentlemen. And at the end of the day, if the team
So you got wait, hold on. I'm sorry.
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay, I'll let you go. I'll let you go.
If the team and coach that you support has not won 11 titles, has not taken a team to the Final Four 13 times, don't speak on Gino Auriemma's methods, because he knows there's a method to his madness. He's gonna pick, he's gonna prod, he's gonna use reverse psychology on his players. He said in the press conference, Paige had what, 19, 7, and 5?
And he said it was a horrible game because the rest of the plays around her.
You really think he thought Paige played
No,
horrible?
no, he didn't think that.
He playing with her. He playing with her. Like, y'all gotta know what he's doing, bro. He does this all of the time. He does it. He's done this all of the time, and it's worked throughout the years. And as our parents and our grandparents would say all of the time when we were growing up, if it ain't broke, why fix it? He's gonna do the same things. Michelle Vopo even said in her article, she said Gino's gonna be Gino, man. He's gonna do the same things over and over. So when I see him blast players and people think that he's throwing his players under the bus, as a UConn fan, I've watched hours of footage of how he interacts with those girls at practice. I know what place it's coming from. It's not coming from him throwing throwing those girls under the bus because he's the first one to give those girls credit if they have a breakout game. He's the first one to champion those girls if they do well. He doesn't take credit for those girls when they do well. He tells those girls, you know, she's talented. That's what she does. But he's not going to kowtow to his best players. He's not going to do that. How is it going to help us moving forward when we face South Carolina again if he says, you know, Paige did her best. Kristen did her best, man.
No,
Venus,
it's not that.
she did her
That's not what people want. It's like, because it's like, all right, I think you even agreed that he threw his players under the bus. It's not like, you know, he threw them under the bus, but that was what he was supposed to do, right? Like,
to me,
we're
I don't
having
think
like two
I don't
different
consider
conversations.
it.
It's
I
throwing
don't
them
know if
under
I
the bus
consider it
because
throwing under
you
the
have to
bus.
take accountability for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying the coaches can't play, the coaches, we did all we could and the players just didn't execute. You know what I'm saying? You can't just, that's throwing someone under the bus. Joel, if something happened,
I don't think
but
throwing somebody under the bus though.
well, okay. Example. If you said, "Yo, I'm coming on after the game," right? Last week, right? And then I get on YouTube every single night, and I'm like, "Y'all get ready, Joel coming back after the game, post game show, Joel coming." And then I call Joel, "You good?" "Nah, man, I got to do something with my mom real quick." "All right, bro." We record 3, 2. "Yo, what's up, y'all? Da, 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 da. Joel said he can't come on tonight." That is throwing you under the bus, Joel.
Yeah,
That's throwing you under the bus.
But me and you don't have the relationship of a coach and player. That's what you're missing. Like, we don't have that relationship. He has the relationship with those girls. Like, he's their coach. So he can say certain things that me and you can't say about them because he's their coach. Like, he's their coach. Like, and maybe if you haven't never played a sport, maybe people don't understand that. But if you've played a sport, you understand that relationship that you have with your coach, like it's a relationship that can it can be great at times. It can be it can be bad at times. It can be hard at times. But at the end of the day, if you know your coach loves you and really wants the best for you, then if he's saying something, then does he really mean that out of his heart? Does he mean that about you, or is he trying to get something out of you? If I honestly believe if he's trying to get something out of you, then it's not throwing you under the bus. If he's honestly doing it to crush you and purposely demean you and break you down and just purposely try to make you feel like you're a bad, like he's just purposely trying to kill your confidence for no reason, then I think your argument would have some logic. But I don't think Gino's trying to break those girls down. Gino's trying to make those girls stronger, because guess what? If we're not stronger, we're not going to beat South Carolina. So people have to bring some stuff into perspective. That's all I'm saying. It's not throwing people under the bus. It's at the end of the day, all he wants is the best for those girls. And nobody's going to sit here and tell me that Gino Auriemma will pour his whole life into the development of not only the girls he recruits, but the girls that he plays against as well. He's put too much into the sport to not, to not want to see these girls succeed. At this point, Gino has won 11 championships. He's produced 3 of the top players to ever play. He doesn't have to do anything else. He's already it. He's probably the greatest to ever do it, if not, arguably in the women's game, hands down. He doesn't have to do anything else. He doesn't have to continue coaching. He could retire, but he's still wanting to develop the new generation of talent in the new age of NIL deals, in the new age of players wanting to be stubborn and not really wanting to listen. You know what I'm saying? And being less humble because of social media. So as a coach, he has to navigate all of this stuff. So yeah, he's gonna have to do certain things to get through to them. But if he's not, you have to, at the end of the day, you have to know where a person's heart is. There are things that your parents may have put you through to teach you a lesson that were sucky methods of how they, taught you the lesson. But at the end of the day, their heart was in the right place because they were trying to teach you the lesson. And sometimes you don't listen. We don't listen to our parents sometimes, right? There are sometimes that we don't listen. And sometimes our parents have to get creative with how they teach us certain lessons. Is that not true? It's the same exact thing.
I hear you. What you're doing is you're doing intention versus like perception, right? So
And
it's
that's
like,
what I really believe I know where his heart, I really
no,
believe.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you. I hear you. The thing is, the public perception outside of that locker room is he said this on a surface level. On that surface level to the public, That is throwing them under. Now, what he
Yeah,
did
that's
it for,
fine.
the
I think
intention
that's
beyond
fine.
that's a whole nother thing. But
Yeah, yeah.
all I'm
I'm
saying
not,
is
Rashad,
on a
I'm not getting
surface level,
there.
on
I'm
a
not saying
basic
that the
level,
public.
before going deeper and deeper into it, he threw him under the bus.
Yeah, man. If people want to think that, that's fine. But just because people think that and that's their opinion doesn't mean it's the truth. And that's all I'm saying. People who have followed the program, everybody hasn't followed the program, so
Because
people
you're
don't
what you're,
realize.
because like I said, what you're doing right now is intention versus perception,
But
and
again, like
the
I said, like you said,
perception is
it's
just
people's
he threw him under the
perception.
bus. Go ahead.
People's perception isn't always factual. So that's what I'm trying to say. And that's in regard to everything. There's a lot of things in life where our perception isn't necessarily the what's
Reality.
going on. It's just what we perceive. It's what we're presented. So all I'm saying to people that perceive it a certain way, I'm somebody that has done my homework. I've watched the stuff. I have followed the program. I have followed Gino. I'm telling you that he's not trying to break these girls down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just saying that out the side of my neck. I'm saying it because I've watched it. Like, he's not trying to break those girls down. He does this. This is just how he coaches. This is his method to his madness. Now,
Wait, hold on. So, quick side note: didn't you say, didn't you say, like, one of the times you've been on here throughout the past few months? If you're new to the channel, the world is good. So, yeah, one of the times you said that's what Gino does with great players. He brings in great players, he breaks them down, and then he builds them up before they leave.
yeah.
So you just said he breaks them down, but now you're saying he doesn't break them down.
No,
It was like me nitpicking. I'm nitpicking. I know.
yeah, you are. I feel like you're
It was just
nitpicking
something.
because what
It's just
and
something you said. It's just something you said.
people only nitpick your statements when you're actually making sense. So I have no problem with you nitpicking. But there's
Oh,
a difference between breaking somebody down to make them a better basketball player and breaking somebody down to break their confidence as a person. It's two different things. It's not. It's two different things. Like what? So let me be
I don't.
specific. Hold on. Let me be
Go ahead.
specific.
Go ahead.
So just in case you bring something up from the past, what I meant by he's breaking them down so that they can become better basketball players. I didn't mean that he's breaking them down to break them down as people. That's not what I meant. I meant that he breaks them down so that they can come out of the other side as better basketball players, not as broken people. That's not what I'm saying. And all I'm saying to the people, I understand the media's perception. I understand what people are going to perceive. But guess what? If if you're telling me that, hey, this is the way it comes off, Gino's not going to change the way he comes off. He doesn't give a shit about what you believe, what I believe, what Nancy believes, what Michelle Vopa believes, what Charlie Cream believes. He does not care because guess what? He got 11 rings on his hand, so he ain't got time to care. He's too really busy cleaning off the championship rings that he's accomplished. So I'm saying this for the people out there that think that he's just this bad person. Guys, if he was this bad person, recruits would not continue to go there. They would not go there at the end of the day. If he was this just evil, bad person, why do these recruits feel comfortable enough to continue to sign with him year after year, bro? You think they're getting them up in stores and giving them some magic potion? Like, no, they obviously connect with him in great players, whether they want to admit it or not. If you've played a sport before, you can appreciate somebody pushing you. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of people haven't played sports before, so they don't understand the relationship, even with a personal trainer. Like, you don't want a personal trainer that's gonna take it easy on you. You want a personal trainer that's gonna challenge you. And now, do I think that the way Gino does it could be cleaned up? I mean, I probably wouldn't do it the same way. I mean, there are a lot of people that think I'm harsh with the way I say things, but that's just who I am. I don't have a bad heart, though. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I have more leniency for Gino because I'm the type of person who is perceived a certain type of way because of how I say things. But I know where my heart is. So if I'm looking at myself in the mirror and know that I'm this type of person and people can perceive it the wrong way, why is it so hard for me to believe that Gino Auriemma can be the same type of person that I am? At the end of the day, perception is nothing. Perception is not always reality. That's as simple as I can put it. Perception is not always reality. And maybe the way we're going in the conversation, maybe that's too deep for people when they're just listening to a press conference. They want to hear a coach kowtow to players, as the great Doris Burke would say. She
You
said
don't
that on.
have it. Like I keep saying, you keep going back. The thing I'm saying is, at the end of the day, like publicly, I feel like it was Gino's responsibility to take some type of accountability, just a piece of accountability. you
I mean, he
lost, right?
said, I felt like he said when he was talking about AZ, I mean, he said, hey, as coaches, it's my job to get her more shots. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about a Hall of Famer that's won 11 championships. Like, he ain't going to really put too much blame on himself publicly. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it 100. A lot of coaches don't, especially a lot of successful coaches. You know, that's just how they feel. So, and especially if they've had a lot of success, of course, they're going to look at it as, well, shit, it can't be me. It got to be you. Because when such and such was here, it was working. But
Well,
I do
first
believe,
thing Vic Schaefer said, you know, because someone pulled it up. Shout out to Cora Hall. The first thing she pulled up was a post game against Tennessee this weekend, and you know, he said, "I failed them for the past 4 minutes," and she said it was on prompt when he said it, and you know, that was just just something she brought up. Vic Schaefer, very successful coach, probably going to go to the Hall of Fame one day. It is what it is.
how many championships has Vic Schaefer won?
Who has he had? What are
No, I'm
his
actually,
what are his recruiting classes looking
you
like
got to answer
versus
my question before I answer yours, Rashad. You got to
zero,
answer mine.
zero?
It's not the same.
What have
We
his
talking about a
recruiting
coach that's
classes
won
look like?
11 and a coach that I just said that successful coaches, we can't sit here and act like successful coaches are not going to have some type of arrogance and cockiness to them. Come on.
So Vic Schaefer isn't a successful coach.
He, in comparison to Gino, we're talking about
Yeah,
Gino now.
I'm saying successful coaches, period. He's a
In
successful
comparison
coach.
to Gino Oriema, he is not a successful coach. No.
And in the country right now, is Vic
No, I'm
Schaefer a
saying in
successful
comparison
coach?
to Gino Oriema, because that's what
Is
we're
in
talking
the
about.
country right now, is he a successful coach? That's all I'm
In
asking.
comparison to Gino Oriema, he is not. No.
Is Don Staley a successful coach?
In comparison to Gino Oriema, no.
Right now in the country, she's a successful coach who
But
outcoached Gino Oriema last night.
I'm comparing.
Yesterday.
I'm comparing all time. If they all three were to stop coaching,
Pat Summitt wouldn't do that.
Pat Summitt wouldn't do what?
Throw players under the bus and not take any accountability after a loss.
Everybody's not the same person, though.
Well, you got to pick a side because you're saying this and then you say
Pick a
the
side.
other
What
thing.
do you mean? Like, I mean, like I don't feel like I should have to explain to adults. If you're an adult, you go to work every day and you encounter people that are different every day. Everybody's not the same. Like what? Like I can't.
But you literally just said if you're that successful, you have to have the arrogance to not take accountability after you lose. And I just gave you the perfect example because I gave you a couple other examples. You said they're not close to Gino. Okay, who's the only close person to Gino? Pat Summitt. Pat Summitt wouldn't do that.
But I don't get to tell Gino how he has to live his life or how he has to talk to. That's his right.
It's literally just us offering our opinion, responding to what we saw.
But and you can give your opinion, but again, opinion is like everybody has one. Like at the end of the day, you cannot tell another adult how you want them to operate. Everybody operates differently. Just like I can't tell you how to think about certain things and how to say certain things. You can't tell me how to think and say about certain things. We all have the freedom to do what we want to do. So nobody has the right to tell whether you like it or not. Nobody has the right to tell anybody that how they choose to come off or how they choose to talk to people. You don't have the right to tell people that they can't do it the way they want to do it. Everybody has that right. By you saying, Pat Summitt wouldn't have done that, Pat Summitt and Gino Oriema are two different people. They're not the same person.
But you just said if you're as successful as Gino, everybody who's successful as Gino is going to talk like that. But it's all right. We're getting stuck on something that's stupid. We're getting stuck on something stupid. Joe, we're not even talking about ball. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
It's a debate. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that when you have a certain level of success, that does play into it. That's all I'm saying. Now, a lot of people love Pat Summitt because she didn't have a brash attitude like Gino. That's why Pat Summitt was beloved the way she was. But
she got in them girls though. If you seen them them locker room clips.
Exactly. She got into her girls too. She may have just not done it. She may have not done it publicly.
That's all I'm saying, Joe. That's all. I have no problem with coaching a player hard. I have no problem
yelling at
with
your
that.
girls behind the scenes. Who cares? Who cares if you're saying certain things? You already cussing them out behind the scenes. Like at the end of the day, keep it 100. Keep the same energy. Don't get in front of the press and be like, oh well, A, B, C, and D when you just went in on them. So Gino Oriema keeps it 100. That's what he does.
And Terrell said he appreciates that because he always keeps it 100.
Like he keeps it 100. Like it's just that simple. Like he keeps it 100. He's not gonna he's not gonna act a certain way with them behind the scenes and then come in front of the cameras and be like and change up like everybody in society does.
Because it's a necessary way that you gotta move.
Rashad, just let me have it. Like you trying
no,
you
no.
you
I'm saying,
trying to go
if you
like,
got dirty laundry, when we come out, bro, we
no dirty
look,
exposing.
but you clean up, like you present yourself well. If you was crying in the bathroom, you come out, right? If you are crying at a party, you come out the bathroom, you wiping your tears off and so on, so you
Exactly,
coming back with your chin up.
because you're concerned about how people are going to perceive you, and what I'm trying to tell you is Gino Auriemma doesn't care about how you guys perceive him. And the quicker you guys can realize that, the quicker the comments that he makes in press conferences won't bother you at all, because you'll know that he ain't changing. As my girl Nene Leaks would say, it ain't changing over here. So there's no reason for anybody to pull their hair out about what Gino Auriemma does, because it's not going to change. That's how he is. That's who he is. And again, I don't believe, at the end of the day, I don't believe those girls will continue to want to be coached by him if he honestly was a bad person with a bad heart. And that's as simple as I can put it. I can't tell Gino Auriemma how to talk. I don't have that right. I don't have that right to tell anybody how to talk. You know what I'm saying? If I had a child on the team, then maybe I would have an opinion about how he treats my child, if it's in regard to my child. You know what I'm saying? But I can't tell him how to come off to the public. That's just not my, I don't have the power, or I can't tell him how to come off to the public, Rashad. I just can't. And
I think we have the internet. We can say it. I think we can say it. If I don't like something that Biden says, if I don't like something that a politician says, I have the right to be like, hey, I don't like the way you said that. And that's my, I could throw that out there.
Yeah, and I think people, like, I never said once that you guys don't have the right to feel like he is throwing people under the bus. I just wanted to put some more perspective into exactly, I wanted to break down exactly what he was doing more, to give you the full circle of really what is it that he's doing. I wanted to pull the layers.
I don't think Gino is a bad guy. I just didn't agree with the way he moved in that situation, because I wouldn't have moved like that.
That's all I be saying. That's all I be saying. Like, if you don't think he's really that guy, then remember that when those moments come out, and take them.
I never thought that.
But some people do, though. There are a lot of people that do believe that he really is a bad coach and he's a bad person, and there are people that do believe that. And all I be trying to tell people is, like, that's just really his coaching method. And shoot, Gino's probably too lazy to come up with new ways to coach at this point. So that's the only way he knows. That's probably the only way he knows, because guess what? He knows his players are going to listen to that press conference. He knows they're going to see it. So that's why he's saying it. He's not saying it for you and me. He's not saying it for the media. He's saying it for his players, so that they can be like, okay, I got something for coach next time we go to practice. I'm going to show him. I'm going to prove him wrong. Bet. That's what he got to say? Cool. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. He wants you to prove him wrong. So if you prove him wrong, that's what he wants from you. So I just want people to put it into perspective in that way. But I'm glad we did go into detail about this, because the narrative that's written about Gino Auriemma a lot of times is that he's this bad coach that throws his players under the bus. And it's just like me, I don't think it's throwing somebody under the bus. Like, I didn't have a problem with anything he said in the press conference, because I thought all of the same things. And maybe because I've watched UConn so long, I'm hard on the UConn players as well. And I didn't even think I was that hard on them after the South Carolina game loss. Like, I really don't feel like I wasn't that hard. Like, I talked to Tommy, I talked to some UConn fans, and I was like, man, they'll get better. It's the fourth game of the season. Like, they're going to get better. The miscues and stuff that I saw in the fourth quarter, that's going to work itself out when they get more reps. They just get more timing. I saw you bring up Dorka in one of the videos, and I want to bring this up again for people out there that ain't hear me the first couple of times I said this. Dorka Juhas has only had 1 week of practice. She missed the whole preseason. She's coming into a system, same thing as we said with high school. She's coming into a system where she has to kind of get used to the system. It's going to take some time. She's only practiced for 1 week. the 1 week she practiced was the week before the Arkansas game. We played Arkansas Sunday. They flew to the Bahamas. They played Friday? No, they played Saturday, Sunday, and then they played Monday. So in Dorka, if you go back and look at that South Carolina game, she did a lot of good things in the first half. It didn't necessarily show up on the box score, but her length and her disruption got it. She was pretty solid. Okay, so in reference to the game, I know we kind of got off kilter, but I think it was needed though. It's needed because people just they get a lot of false narratives sometimes. But in reference to the game, can you pull up South Carolina their box score?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to take the 22 points Leah Boston scored. Can you I don't have a pencil, but I can take it. Never mind. All right. So 22. Damn. My bad, y'all. I didn't have my visual aids ready. I'm looking
we're just filtering, filler words. Joel said 22. Who else you want? You want Zaya?
There we go. All right. 22 points for Aaliyah Boston. Okay. Boston, 22.
I got my calculator out, y'all. Math.
There you go. Okay, so Boston gave us 22. 15. Let's bring up that 15 because that 15 is important. Let's put up that 15. Zaya gave us 17?
17.
Zaya got 17, and then
54.
Henderson got 15?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and what's the box score? 73 54. And 57. Is that 16?
54 and 73. So 73 subtracted by 54 is 19.
I thought it was 57.
No, it was 54. Hold on. I could add it up again and double check. All right. So it was 19. All right. But 19 is the number I have. Wait, I'm trying to remember the number. 22 plus 15 plus 17 equals 54.
No. I'm talking about what's the box score, 73, 57. What's the difference? That's 19, right?
16.
16. That's what I wanted. Okay, 16-point game. Henderson. All right, now go to what did Henderson give us? 15?
Yeah, Henderson gave 15.
Okay, so out of that 7-3, that's 54. All right. Can you go to UCONN?
Yeah. Big bag busting not the. Sorry, I had that Cardi B song in
my head. Spazzing. Paige gave us 19. Avina gave us 14. And
Kristen had 10.
We can do Kristen with 10. All right.
That's 43.
Okay, so that's 43 to 54. 16-point game. Paige didn't score in all of the fourth. Do you believe Paige is capable of, from that 19, do we believe Paige Beckers is capable of scoring possibly, let's say, 5 more points? 5, just 5.
5 more points in the fourth quarter?
Just 5.
Oh, in a game in general?
No, we can use this game. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to add a certain amount of points to the UConn players, and I also want to put AZ Foot under Christian at 0.
Okay. I think AZ can give you 5.
Okay. So, but I think Paige can give me more. I want to give.
It was, but like, Terrell was saying, I don't know, but I like the way they were guarding Paige in the second half and in the fourth. I mean, you just have to credit the defense,
I don't know. When I went back and look at the clips, I just don't believe that Paige can go from completely dismantling defenders now to not being effective at all. I definitely think some of that was Paige not being aggressive enough. That's my personal opinion.
Do you think the minutes are ever going to catch up to her?
I think playing 3 games in 3 days may have caught up with her. You know what I'm saying? I think that could have caught up with her.
I mean, because we talked about it after the first game, right?
And her not having enough help.
Yeah, it's like Paige got to do everything again this season.
Exactly.
And it's but I'm like, that's not gonna work the entire season. You would kind of.
But let me do this. Let me give Paige. Let me do it this way. Paige she scored 19. I'm gonna just give her 3 more points. Let's say she scored 3 more points than she scored, even though I think she's capable of scoring more than 3 points in a quarter. That puts her at 22, right?
Okay.
All right, Avina. Avina is 3 below Zion. I'll keep Avina at that 14. You know, that's pretty even for Avina. I won't even put any more points on Avina.
And
Kristen Williams.
we gave Avina her shout out too. You know, playing well and within the game. Go ahead, continue.
So that's 3 I'm adding. Avina 3. I mean, Paige, I'm sorry, 3. I really should give Paige 5, but I'll give her 3 just so the people don't think I'm biased. Kristen Williams, I want to give her at least 3. At least 3 more points. I think Kristen is capable of. I really think Kristen is capable of at least scoring 5 more points than she scored yesterday in that game. But I'll give her 3. I'll give her 3. I'll give her 3. So that puts her at 13 points instead of 10 points, right? So I gave Paige 3, so that puts her at 22. Avina's at 14. Kristen is at 13, and I want to give AZ at least 10 points. Is that cool?
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable. And again, I'm not just giving them points. I'm giving them points based off what I think they're capable of.
Yeah. The only reason why I was laughing is because it's like it sounds like a next level like excuse, but I understand where you're coming from with this and where you're going.
It's not an excuse at all. I just want to bring into perspective how close the game actually was. Because if you're telling me Paige Beckers could have gave me 3 extra points, Kristen Williams could have gave me 3 extra points, and AZ Foot would have gave me 10 points, that's the 16-point deficit right there. That's a 16-point deficit. And mind you, go scroll down. Dorka had 2. So let's say Dorka only gives us 2 more points, right? Let's say she only gives us 2 more points. We win.
I hear where you're coming from, but that's not the way the game works. I mean, but I hear where you're coming from.
All I'm saying is, if that would have happened, the game would have been different. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it did happen. And what I'm saying is, if Paige is not capable of, and mind you, I only gave Paige 3 points. Paige probably could have put up another 10 in a quarter,
right?
Honestly, but I gave her 3. I gave Paige Becker 3 more points. So if Paige would have scored 3 more points, if Kristen would have scored 3 more points, and if AZ would have gave us 10, the 16-point lead they won by isn't a 16-point lead. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is if that would have happened. So it's not as far out of reach as people think it really, really was. Because at the end of the day, 22, 17, and 15 that Boston, Zaya, and Henderson gave you, the UConn players, they're capable of putting that up. Kristen Williams, you're telling me Kristen Williams wasn't capable of putting 3 points up in a quarter? Paige is not capable of putting 3 points up in a quarter. AZ can't put up 10 points in a game, at least 10, and she scored 18 the previous night. So what I'm saying this to say is that if we can fix that, because we played pretty good defense on them. Contrary to popular belief, we played pretty good defense throughout the game. It wasn't. I'm just trying to get people to realize it wasn't as spread out as people think. The 16-point deficit that it ended up being is very, very not telling of what the whole complete game was. South Carolina trailed the whole game, guys. I think I saw one of your commenters that you had on here. That you clearly got from a soup kitchen, say that the NC State game was the most competitive game for South Carolina, which I don't understand when South Carolina never trailed in that game. They never trailed in the NC State game, I don't believe. Check me if I'm wrong, fans. How can that be a more competitive game if they never trailed when they trailed for longer in the UConn game? They trailed for 3 quarters in the UConn game. So all I'm doing, I get what you're saying about it didn't happen that way and basketball doesn't work that way. But all I'm saying is when I take the 16-point deficit and look at what my players gave me and ask myself a question, is Paige capable of giving me a more than that 19? Is Kristen capable of giving me more than that 10? I think Aaliyah Edwards is capable of more than that, just that 6. I don't know if you saw the highlight when she got the rebound and went coast to coast with her handle. I don't think you saw that highlight. See, Rashad, you got to watch all the highlights.
No, because look. I even said it on the thing, but I clicked it out. I was like, all the UConn fans talking about you only react to Paige. I looked up the UConn highlights. They don't even have you. They just have Paige Beckett, Paige back. I'm like, dang, I can't see your team highlight.
And I really want you to see that because that is
but I mean, but you know, I watch the full games after. Like Joel knows,
but do you know what I'm talking about?
Like we in the group. Nah, I don't. With this
I know you
particular
don't know.
play.
I know you don't know.
But Joel knows what I like. Because I be sending him clips of me watching the games, and
So,
also with AZ and that 10 that you want from AZ that you need from AZ.
So can you pull that up because I know exactly what time it is. Can you pull it up real quick? I just